Hi, my name is Yihwen Chen from Malaysia. I'm the producer-director of Queer as Punk. The film is a story about Malaysia's first openly queer punk band, Shh Diam, and it's a story about human spirit, solidarity, and the power of chosen family.
We started the band just to have fun, basically. So our songs are a lot about having fun and stuff. But you know, when you write about music, you tend to write from your own experiences and the experiences of people around you. So obviously the songs are going to be a bit queer.
So 8 lah.
Yang first tu kan, yang kau kata masuk yang get brown, this brown, yang tu bukan kau ke? Kau Faris kan?
Itulah.
Tu kau punya part kan?
Kita pun boleh masuk dua-dua juga.
Hi, welcome to the Teddy TV. My name is Zsombor Bobák, and this time we are talking about the film Queer as Punk. Hi, welcome to the Teddy, welcome to the Berlinale. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm curious to hear, the film revolves around a punk band, a queer punk band in Malaysia. How did you first encounter this band and what inspired you to follow them in this film?
Well, I met them in 2017. I was working as a journalist at the time, and I've just published a short documentary about trans men, and this was for mainstream media. And at the time, I also had an idea that I wanted to do a music documentary, and I kind of knew about the band, and a colleague of mine knew Faris, the lead singer, and she just put us in touch, and that's how we met.
Is there like a vivid, lively punk scene in Malaysia?
Yes, the underground scene is, it's small, but it's a very close-knit community.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, community is definitely key in the film as well. It's one of the central themes that we see. Can you maybe share a little bit about how this community, this band, and their personal lives come together, and how was it for you as a filmmaker to join and portray these intimate moments that are taking place within this community?
Well, first of all, we had to build a trust relationship because, they are giving me access to their private lives, their personal space, and also because of the risk associated with, the queer scene. And when I met Faris, I remember the first meeting we had. I asked him, if they were going to do anything, and he told me that they were planning to tour Europe the following year. So I thought that, okay, maybe, this is just a story about a band going on tour. And I thought I would take a year to to develop the film and then shoot for a year, and that's it. But of course, it didn't happen that way. After I shot them in touring Europe, I just felt that story wasn't there yet. But I also was following the personal lives of the each individual band members. Yon became a mother. Yoyo left Malaysia, but there wasn't really much happening with Faris, and then I realized that it's not because that his life was uneventful, but it's because of the challenges that he faced as a trans person in Malaysia, and the challenges that he faced, it's not like a visible or big dramatic moments in the film, but it's just everyday challenges that shape his life and became central to the story.
Yeah, I think an important consideration must be always when you portray a vulnerable group of people's intimate lives and their struggles. There must be some ethical considerations from your part. I wonder if you can share it with us. What was your thought process, and how did that translate into the process of making this film?
Okay. Well, Faris himself, he was actually also a journalist. When I met him, he was working as a business journalist. So both of us understood, the ethics of journalism. And with the rest of the band members, I talked to them. I explained to them what I was going to do. And also, I think everything that we were doing, we have discussion. What is the comfort level and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Of course, there is a particular socio-political context in which the lives of these characters, of these protagonists unfold. I think maybe it would be nice to hear a bit more about what exactly is the situation in Malaysia for the queer community is.
Well, the queer community in Malaysia, they exist in a very challenging and also hostile environment because of the country's legal, political, and social climate. Same-sex relations are criminalized under colonial era laws, and also we have Sharia law, which applies to Muslims. So any representation of LGBTQ plus would be heavily censored. This includes film, books, online content. In fact, it is in the law that if you are going to portray a queer character, the ending of the story, they have to repent or they would have like a tragic ending. And so, any public discussion of, queer rights, that would be met with suppression or even face legal consequences.
Well, we see that the band, it's not only about music for them, but music sort of becomes a tool through which a very particular kind of activism can be exercised and practiced. Can you tell us a little bit about more of this aspect of their working as a band and how music and activism comes together?
I think coming back to my initial approach of, thinking that the documentary was about a band playing music. But the year that I was filming, we had a historic change in government for the first time in 61 years. And then there was a Muslim lesbian couple who was caned in the Sharia court, and this was a first for the country. And there was a prominent trans woman entrepreneur. She had to flee the country and seek asylum for cross-dressing charges, and they sent out like 122 religious officers to hunt down her. And then of course COVID came, and then we had successive change in government. So I think at that point I realized that it is not just about a band playing music. It's how they respond to our country's shifting political landscape, and it just became bigger. And it is, at the end of the day, it's a story about an already discriminated and marginalized community fighting to exist in a very fractured landscape.
Yeah, certainly. Another part that kept me wondering is the camera work in the film and how you constructed the visual language of the film. The way how everything was framed and also the structuring of the narrative gave like a very particular rhythm to the film. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear more about how you came up with the visual identity of the film and the structuring of the narrative.
I was filming on my own because of the security and safety issues, and I think also for the comfort level of the band members, because you can't have a whole big crew coming to their space, and I think it's just over time that I was very conscious that I'm just observing their daily lives, and that's what I wanted to portray. And I'm glad it came through in the camera work. Yeah. Even with the storytelling, we look at the music band, they have fun on stage, but off
sure.
stage they are still just human beings like everyone else, and I think that's what I wanted to show the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. What was, to me, watching this film, it was really heartbreaking to see how the individual fate and the individual personal decisions of the original band members also kind of led to a sort of restructuring or a big change in the setup of the band as well. I mean, Yoyo's departure from Malaysia, which then also brought a lot of light on how a lot of people are leaving the country who are like very talented and could give a lot, but at the end of the day, they just try to find a bit of more peace and stability somewhere else. So yeah, that was a very heartbreaking element in the film, and I was curious to hear your point of view on these questions and how did it emerge as quite a central topic in the second half of the film.
Let me think about it. I think with the pandemic, definitely it pushes a lot of people and also them to think about what they want in their life. I mean, as Yoyo said, her partner can't be in Malaysia with her, so somebody have to make that decision to leave. And our friend, the trans woman friend as well, she realized that it is time to get out from the country, and also because of what's happening in the background of the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Chosen family is then the other end of the spectrum, which is giving a lot of hope, and it was fascinating to see how this group of people create these families that are really like bastions for them on which they can rely, and it was very nice to peek into their lives. Yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about the element of chosen family, and how did you see it through the camera? What does this really mean in the everyday life for this group of people?
The band has been around since 2009, so that's about 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a long time. And I think when I met them, of course, with the punk community, you have the community spirit, and then I saw how it didn't just exist in the band, but it extended to their friends, their partners, and then also other people who we met later on in the journey. Yeah.
To me personally, solidarity and sticking together was a sort of message that I could take away, and that was very inspiring to see. What do you hope that people could take away from this film? And I'm particularly curious, what do you think the local queer community in Malaysia could take away from this film?
Well, there's not a lot of queer films in Malaysia, especially one with positive on-screen representation.
Yeah.
So at least we can't screen the film in Malaysia, but I do hope that somehow they would have an opportunity to watch it, to watch themselves on screen, to celebrate themselves on screen. And I think for the audience, what I hope is that after they watch it, because we all have our own biases and stereotypes, I hope that we can all reflect on it and then be inspired to take action to be more inclusive.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you also for the film, and I wish you all the best for the Berlinale. Have a lovely time. Thank you.
Thank you.